Alright guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see by the background, we are in the city of Chicago, Illinois. Today, Trump just announced some big news. He said that Chicago and New York are next on the list for the military to come in and try to combat the crime in these cities. Let's go ask what the people of the city of Chicago think about what Trump is trying to do. Let's just get right into it. Did you see in the news today, Trump just announced he wants to send military into Chicago and New York?
I did see that.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's good? Is it bad?
I don't really think it's necessary. I don't really know what that would do. Probably bad.
You don't think there's a lot of crime in Chicago that goes unsolved?
I think there's a lot of crime everywhere that goes unsolved, and I have a hard time seeing how the military is going to do anything to solve that.
You don't think more law enforcement could help the problems?
Not really.
How would that not? How would that not help?
Law enforcement, you know, they mostly do stuff after crimes are committed, right? So they don't do much prevention-wise. Plus, like, we already have cops like everywhere, so I don't know why more would do anything.
I mean, recently it did work in Washington, D.C. I'm not sure the exact percentage of crimes that did drop, but obviously the police here, like, you could kind of see what kind of people they are versus, let's say, they bring in the military. They might be a little more serious and people might be a little more scared of them. You don't think that could work? Like fear might stop them?
I don't really think that fear plays much of a role in preventing crime.
What do you think a good solution can be?
I think investing in more social services, for sure. A lot of crime comes about from like unstable environments, not having stable income, having access to like basic needs and stuff like that. So I think more investment in that rather than inflating the budget of the military to bring them into Chicago would probably do more good.
You don't think there's been a lot of investment already and there hasn't been much change to the city?
Well, I disagree with that. Crime rates in Chicago are dropping, just things are reported more heavily, so it feels like things are getting worse when they're not. But also, like, social services are being cut left and right, seems like now, so I don't really see how investing more would be bad.
Alright guys, if you want to support me and support what I do, go check out this shirt that I made. It's my favorite from my collection. Obviously it says Hermes right there, and this is the back of it. So it will be pinned in the comments below. Now let's get right back to the video. So in the news recently, you said you did see Trump wants to send in military in Chicago and New York to try to drop crime. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's a terrible idea. I think he's doing it primarily because he wants to cause trouble for blue cities, Democratic-run cities.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that, yes.
Do you think there is a crime problem in Chicago?
Well, sure there is, but I think the best people to deal with it are the local police force and the local political leaders.
At what point does the federal government have to intervene into the state government if they're not doing a good job? Which, I don't know, some people say crime has been dropping. I think there's just more unsolved crime at the moment.
I think there's always been quite a lot of unsolved crime, but I think when the federal government gets involved, for the most part, it should be when they're invited by the local and state authorities to do so. Otherwise, crime on the local level is a responsibility of local authorities.
If you say the military shouldn't get involved, what are some ways to lower crime on a city level?
Well, I think the ones that have been most effective are community policing programs. I'm not an authority on that, but I think that when they have tried to involve the police in having relationships with people in the local communities, that's been, I think, a fairly effective way to address crime. The other aspect of it, of course, is gun control. And many of the people that want to use the military to bring guns into our cities to address crime are the very people that are opposed to gun control, which takes weapons out of the hands of people committing the crime. So if that doesn't make a lot of sense to you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me either.
What do you think of the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Johnson?
I think that the city of Chicago deserves, and this isn't going to sound like what most people say, but I think what we need are professional politicians who have grown up and learned how to run a city. I think people who have worked as aldermen, worked as county officials, worked as city officials, and then eventually graduated up into the role of mayor, have been the most effective at running cities. And I think there's been too little of that, both in Chicago and in other cities around the country.
If Gavin Newsom and J.D. Vance are running for the 2028 presidential election, who are you voting for?
Well, if I have to make that choice, it'll be Gavin Newsom, but I sure hope it isn't the choice. That's the way I have felt for quite a few elections now.
Who would you like to see run?
I don't know. I mean, J.B. Pritzker would be okay with me, but I think there's quite a few other candidates that I think the governor of Kentucky, the governor of Pennsylvania, I think the governor of Minnesota, Walz, would be okay, but governor of Michigan, Whitmer. But I think there's a lot of candidates that would be good candidates, but I think they need to do the job of running for the office and letting us hear what they have to say before we make a decision.
Did you see in the news today, Trump actually said he wanted to send military into Chicago and New York next to kind of help crime? You think that's a good idea?
Well, I haven't seen the news, but I'm sure it's probably not a good idea. I'm not sure because the city does not... I feel there's not a lot of crime activity going on, maybe.
I mean, we're obviously in the nicer area of town. There's a lot of worse areas in Chicago that you probably know of. So do you think it would be a good idea to try to solve crime, even if you don't see it personally, but in the areas that there is a lot?
Yeah, like always fighting crime is a good idea, is what I feel. So
some people are calling it martial law, that he's like using, I guess, too much of his government outreach into like cities and states. Do you think that's true, or do you think if states fail to solve something, the federal government should intervene?
So I'm not like from here, so I'm not sure how it works here, but like whatever makes sure that there's less crime, I think that's a good idea.
Do you have any thoughts on the Mayor Johnson of Chicago?
So I'm not too much into politics, but so I do not have like, unfortunately, I do not have like thoughts, but I think he might be doing a good job, or I'm not sure, but yeah.
What are your thoughts about Chicago as a city as a whole? What do you like about it? What do you dislike?
Oh, it's a beautiful city, especially people say it's a good city in the summers. I love it in the winters because there's snow and the lake's frozen, and it's like, I live right by the lake. It's a great sight to see. And just people are like super warm, right? Like I haven't faced any kind of like, you know, people say they faced like racism, blah, blah, blah. I have not faced none of it, and I feel like people are absolutely amazing in Chicago.
Trump wants to send in the military into Chicago and New York to try to combat crime. Do you think that's a good idea?
No.
Why not?
I feel like, honestly, that's what he'll try to disguise it as, but you see what's going on in Washington, D.C. and everything like that. I think, honestly, Trump is worried about the wrong shit.
What should he be worried about?
Real people, and not his billionaire friends.
Isn't he kind of worried about real people if he wants to help the city of Chicago kind of decrease crime?
But Mayor Johnson is already doing that. If you actually look up the statistics, the crime rate of Chicago is down 35%. So
I mean, they say the crime rate is down, but you know, there's less policing in some of these neighborhoods that have more of these crimes. So maybe more crime just isn't being reported.
Neighborhoods often get more policed anyway. So what are you really talking about? I don't know. I just think Trump is stupid and I hate his ass. So yeah.
Do you think Mayor Johnson's doing a good job?
Yep, absolutely.
What do you like that he's doing?
I think he's first of all, he's giving up more money back to the Chicago public schools. He's reinvesting in lower income neighborhoods to try to build up equity. He's doing really good. And he's investing in things that actually work that a lot of past politicians were scared to take chances on because they weren't seeing instant results. So, yeah.
Didn't a lot of mayors already invest in like public schooling and invest in more, and clearly it didn't really do anything?
That's what they say.
How do you feel about Trump bringing the military into Chicago? What's your opinion on it?
I think that's a pretty good idea. I mean, if the city can't solve its own issues, then the federal government might have to intervene at some point.
I mean, okay.
So
that's it.
So what's next?
Right.
What do you mean what's next?
I mean,
I was asking you guys' opinions.
Yeah, that's my opinion. You got your right to your opinion.
Yeah.
Cool, that's all. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time. All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what city I should visit next, what questions I should ask next, and see you guys next time.